Hello, good morning, and welcome back on my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Cece, and I do a fun TBR game with some fun punishments. But my TBR game is kind of meant to not ever be successful. I usually put 5 to 10 books more on it than I can ever complete because I like the structure of knowing what to read next. I get a book picking anxiety when I stand in front of my 400 books that I haven't read yet and I need to pick the next read without like prompts or anything. So I love to create my TBR and have something to read for the whole month. So for the very first time since I started my booktube channel in 2017, this month actually realistically looks like I could finish my TBR. Not only will I finish my TBR, that also means I will finish my TBR game, so no punishments. And I've been thinking about what I could do as a reward that I can also film and share with you. And I couldn't come up with anything that I was wishing for myself for that I could reward myself with because I am pretty happy with my life. I want something and I really feel like I should get it. I just get it without tying a reward system to it. I just didn't feel like I actually had something. I mean, there is something but that is 400 bucks and I'm still thinking if that really is necessary. I'm not tying it to a reward. What I have come up with instead is that I will be doing a reading vlog weekend. I will try to finish as many books as possible. I still have 6 books to finish this month. We have 4 days left, but 2 of these 6 books have already been started to more or less of a big chunk. So it actually is realistic, and every single book that I will be finishing this weekend I will give away to you as long as Book Depository ships to you. So all you have to do to enter the giveaway is watch this vlog, and at one point when I'm talking about the book that I am giving away, I will give you a hashtag and a question to answer. Put it down in the comments. If you want to enter for each book, it's one comment for each. So if I finish 3 books and you want to win 3 books, you should have 3 comments at least, maybe a 4th where you like generally just comment on the video. You should have 1 entry for 1 book is 1 comment. What we will be reading this weekend, first off, we will be finishing the Book of Lost Friends, which is, I think it's like 2 hours left. We have Supernova by Marissa Meyer. Obviously, when giving away this one, you can choose if you want the first book in the series or the second or this one, because this is the finale. Then we have Reset and we have Black Boy Out of Time. Reset is a Once Upon a Book Club box, so I have some gifts to open. I also have a busy weekend ahead. We are already almost running a little late, so we'll be dropping off my son at his uni prep course work first. We have a cooking class with my friends this afternoon. We still are going to do a 24 and 48 hour readathon somehow to get all these finished. The other 2 books that I still have to finish but I don't have planned to finish this weekend is The Bends of Morning and The Thousandth Floor, which I already have started as well. Wish me luck and let's go. We'll be going on a little hike and we'll be listening to the Book of Lost Friends. Now, if you do want to win the Book of Lost Friends, please use hashtag history and give me as a question, can you give me a prompt for an upcoming video idea that can be anything from film an eating cooking vlog for a day, or do a reading vlog of this particular book, or go out and do something specific. It can be anything, as long as it won't cost me a really high amount of money. A couple of I guess 10-20 euros would be okay, but please no like €100 prompt. Use hashtag history and a punishment prompt for an upcoming video idea. The Book of Lost Friends is a historical fiction. It follows 2 timelines, as for some reason a lot of historical fiction does. I don't know what the obsession about like 2 timelines is. One timeline is it's right after the Civil War, I want to say. So officially slavery has ended, but it's still a very tense situation. We're following a young woman who has lost her family, and she is traveling. I don't want to necessarily give away the reason. I'm really trying to avoid spoilers here, but she is traveling across the country, and she meets different types of people, and the main thing that she comes across is all these letters to this black run church newsletter, where they are then publishing people who are looking for their family and people that they were separated from, mostly through like being sold or something like that. So that's the like past timeline. The current timeline plays in the 1980s, so in our standards that is already past timeline as well. And I have to check which way do I have to go. Timeline in the 1980s follows a teacher who is a white teacher, and she comes to a school in a very, very poor area. So not necessarily the area, but the school is very poor, is pretty much minorities, has a white school nearby that has all the funding and all the money this poor school would need, and all the kids there are so like not interested, what it seems like, in learning. She's trying to educate them on literature and tries to find a project, and it seems like she succeeds by creating a project that ties these kids into their like family history. What she's pretty much doing is helping these kids research what their family's history is, I guess that's the best description here. I think it is overall well written. If you like historical fiction, I've heard a couple of people say that it feels slow or over descriptive in some areas. It does not so to me, but I might have a few issues with how things are portrayed. And at one point I was like, I don't know who that author is, but I bet she's white. And that's disappointing. I do think that you can write a historical fiction about some heritage that is not your own heritage, because at that point it's fiction either way, so you haven't lived it. It cannot be own voices, even if your family has lived it. But you are required to speak to people and do your research. If there's people who still live, who have experienced it, talk to those kind of people, or talk to their families and listen to things. Have sensitivity readers to double check that you are not unintentionally feeding into stereotypes or into some things that just don't seem like completely right. And I just don't think that the author here did that well. The past timeline, from my perspective, has some complications when it comes to how indigenous people are being portrayed and how the black girl feels towards the indigenous people and talks about them. And the present timeline in the 1980s just could easily be seen as a white savior's kind of complex thingy. So while I do think that these type of schools and these type of kids do exist and it is a problem, the way that it is portrayed just isn't raising awareness just in the right way, but is confirming stereotypes. Well, I enjoy this story so much, but at the same time it just feels a little bit off. Compare this to my head, like, oh my god. finished the book of Lost Friends, and I have no idea how to rate it. Everything that I just mentioned before is still there. There's another layer. The author talking about masters and slave owners, like white old men, having children with their wives and with their mistresses, where these mistresses are their black slaves. And I'm like, those are not mistresses. You are putting a nicer word on rape. Don't do that. And then there was a twist at the end that I felt like had nothing to do with the whole book, was completely unnecessary, potentially was in there to try and make a connection between the lost friends, the black people who were sold, and this white main character. And I'm like, oh my god, that is such a stretch. And no, I don't know how to rate it, because I did enjoy following the story overall, but I have problems with it. I'm between like 1 star because of the problems and 4 stars because I enjoyed it so much. The pure writing style, the setting and everything was enjoyable, so I don't know how to rate it. I don't know. It is officially noon on day 1 of my 24 and 48. Since it's noon, 12 hours have passed and I have read a total of 2.5 hours and finished 1 book. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So for the rest of the hike, I will be starting Supernova by Marissa Meyer. Let's talk about that later though. And when I'm back in my car and I still have a little bit of time, I will make some progress in Black Boy Out of Time, which I will talk about later too. How do you say it in Spanish? Cheers?
Salud.
Salud.
O arriba, abajo, al centro y para adentro. But you never
abajo.
Yeah, oben, unten, al centro, para adentro. Para adentro is a street word to say inside.
Arriba, abajo, al centro,
in der Mitte, zur Tür, zum
para adentro. It was a wonderful afternoon and evening, but honestly, I am so tired now. I am really tired, but I also need to catch up on some reading because, well, being out and doing all the cooking stuff for so many hours and then spending some time with my friends in the Altstadt in Düsseldorf. Now I have wasted a lot of time. No, it's not wasted. I had a lot of fun with my friends and that definitely was a priority, but it's not good for my 12 and 48. I'm gonna take my Kindle to bed, read a little bit more in Black Boy Out of Time before I fall asleep, and I am, I think, on what's the page, 30 or something. I'll have to double check because I was listening to Supernova, so I'm going to have to still go and do my comments. I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna update Twitter. I think I'm on chapter 15. I'm really enjoying this so far. It seems to be a really, really good conclusion to the trilogy. What it seems so far, but there's still a lot to go. And then I'm gonna read for a little while, and when I'm close to falling asleep, I'll update Twitter, and then I'll go to bed. And then tomorrow is a full day of reading. Good night. Good morning. I look like crap, but hey, that's part of a vlog, right? So I read 3 hours in Black Boy Out of Time before falling asleep last night. I feel a little bit conflicted about that book. I think that's a lot of the topics the author's bringing up, and yes, it's a nonfiction, it's a memoir, so I'm going at it a little bit differently than a fiction book, but I still expect to be captivated by the story like in a fiction book somehow, because in memoirs I just feel like if the story is told well, then that happens. And I've read a couple of memoirs where exactly that happened, but it doesn't happen here. Like, it's jumping back and forth. I cannot follow the thoughts because the author seems to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It's not like one train of thought and he's just discussing that, or one point of his life and he's discussing that. I just can't follow it. It's just so, it feels like the author has so many thoughts at the same time and he's trying to put them all on paper, and the editors let it fly. It's like I'm asking, where are the editors in this, saying, hey, you need to sort your thoughts out before putting them on paper. Anyways, I just woke up. I'll be watching an episode of the K-drama I'm watching currently. I'm slowly watching K-dramas, although I want to watch them all right now, but I also don't want to spend so much time on watching them. So it's like an episode a week. So I'll watch that, and then I'll probably listen to the Supernova audiobook for another like half an hour before getting up, because I love on a Sunday to just be able to stay in bed and listen to an audiobook or read before having to get up. The only thing that might make me get up is my nose is so congested when waking up. I don't know if there's like a bush or something like right outside my window that I'm starting to be allergic to, because whenever I wake up in my bed, it's like I'm getting sick, but when I'm then walking around the house for an hour or so, it goes away. So let's stop rambling, let's watch and then listen and then get up. Okay, I had to get out of my bed because my nose is starting to run. This is not normal. So usually for breakfast, I like to make myself some protein-based like yogurt or something like that. But from yesterday, we have these mushrooms left and the avocado salsa. So this is craving for an omelet. I usually prefer to cook whole food plant-based, which oftentimes is vegan, but it's not technically vegan. And an omelet with these mushrooms and this avocado salsa is still whole food plant-based, even if the egg comes from a chicken. We have quite a few egg farms like chicken farms around here, and I actually walked past the one where we got our eggs yesterday, so I feel okay with where I'm getting my eggs from. And so I don't feel as bad about making an omelet versus when I would be getting meat from a supermarket or something. So I'm okay with that. Let's make an omelet and let's talk about Black Boys Out of Time. Instead of listening to Supernova, I finished that. Let's get a coffee going. I woke up and I cannot move my neck properly. I am in so much pain right now, and I have been already like complaining about being in pain yesterday afternoon to my friends. Like, I'm an old lady, but this is really bad. Adding the mushrooms, protein for coffee. We wanted to talk Black Boy Out of Time. I spent an hour just now reading Black Boy Out of Time. If you want to win Black Boy Out of Time, use hashtag nonfiction. If you have seen my TBR game before, or I should say my TBR game punishments, you should know that when I am not finishing my TBR game prompts, that I have to go and do punishments out in the real world. For this, I have a prompt that is called Do Something That Frightens You. I would like to know, what would you do if you had that prompt and you had to go out and do something that frightens you? What would you go and do? So use hashtag nonfiction and tell me what you would go and do if you had to do something that frightens you. So this is more becoming scrambled eggs with mushrooms, which is still gonna be tasty, I think. And Black Boy Out of Time, I just had a hard time getting through, so I think I rushed it at the end. I am giving it 3 out of 5 stars because I do think that a lot of the messages are important in this book. It's a memoir that talks about being black, being queer. There's so many layers to this that I celebrate and love and think should be talked about more. And I do think that the experience our author / main character went through is important to talk about, but the way it was written just didn't work for me because I couldn't follow a train of thought to the end. It was just all over the place, jumping back and forth, and I had the hardest time following. And that was pretty much my main issue, that I couldn't connect because I couldn't follow. So after reading a page, I was like, so wait, what's the point? Where are we? I got lost on every page. So I felt at the end that I couldn't even give a valid review or talk about what the book is about because I got lost so often. It doesn't make the book. I don't know if it's me or if it's the book, but if you're interested in this type of black history, memoir, being queer, and some religious topics, and how like family, and there's so many layers to this, but I couldn't review this. I couldn't summarize this if I tried because I got lost. You can still win it. After having breakfast, I'll sit down and do some of my comments in Supernova, and I'm going to think about if I have to. It's Sunday, so I'm not going to be able to see a doctor, but maybe I'm going to have to see like a massage place that is open. So usually I would eat omelette or something like this in hotels while traveling. I don't make them much at home because I prefer to cook vegan at home. But this is so good. It reminds me how much I miss hotel food. So we found a place that does massages, like a Thai massage place. Having high hopes. Ow, 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 ow. But I need to get a test first. I am fully vaccinated, but the second vaccination is only a week ago, so it does not fully count yet. So I'm not fully protected yet. By the way, I found this in a shop. This is like a Shark Tank in Germany product. It's gonna make my favorite cup into a travel mug. I don't know how well it works with the lid, but at least I have a cover so that my favorite mug doesn't spill shit anymore. Testing done. I grabbed some cash because these places only operate on cash. So it's so yucky weather. I have to wait 20 minutes for the results, but they're being sent to my mobile phone, so that's good. But I wish I could go for a walk in this weather. So like I wish I could go for a walk, but with this weather, I don't know if you can see, just these like few minutes or seconds, I would be like completely wet if I would go for a walk. So let's drive to the place that does the massages and sit in the car and read for half an hour before we go in. Okay, let's try if this really works or if this is just a lid. Yeah, it works. It works, though I do think I prefer it just as a lid. So because I love living in my car, that's why you'll see all the crap in the back too. Like my air mattress, pillow and everything. Lights that come down when I have to take my son in my car. So the crap is because I live here. I just don't like the travel mugs, and I actually don't like the taste of these lids. Being in a car, I didn't want to have these... I want to have a reusable cup or mug that I can take everywhere. But I actually want a beautiful mug and not something... Though I don't like most of the travel mugs. I like a ceramic mug. And I put some Velcro on the bottom. Oh, and I put the other end of the Velcro on my... like on top of the dashboard. I would prefer a wooden lid. Maybe I'm going to find something, maybe somebody on Etsy can create something like this with my logo in that size. Wouldn't that be awesome? If you know somebody who can do this, please let me know. Hello. This was so good. Can I fully move? No. But is it better? Yes. And was it worth it? Yes. I felt some weird guilt when I would pop out my book at a nail salon or listen to my audiobook during a massage. And then the person that I go to for the Thai massage said, well, you're here to relax. If you want to listen to your book and it relaxes you, that's good, do it, as long as it's not in the way. She was completely like, yeah, you should do that. But I don't know if everybody feels that way. I think at the nail salon at one point, one lady was bothered by me reading, but at the same time, she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to the other nail artists in a language that I didn't know. So I was like, why is she bothered if I'm reading? So I've been listening to Supernova for another hour, and I'm loving the conclusion to this trilogy so far. If you haven't heard about Renegades by Marissa Meyer, you probably have been watching different booktube channels than I have, because I feel like it was all over booktube a while ago. It's pretty much a superhero story, but we are on the, is it actually superhero or are the heroes actually villains and the other way around? And where do I belong? Do I belong to the superheroes or the villains? And our main character is pretty much playing both sides for a while. Without going into anything that would potentially be considered spoilers, I can't tell you much more. But I really enjoyed Renegades. I really enjoyed Arc Enemies. And I am really enjoying Supernova. So if you want to win one of these Renegades series, when you win, you're going to have to tell me if you want to get part 1, 2, or 3. Put a hashtag superhero in the comments. Answer the question, what is it that you most enjoy about vlogs? Me personally, I enjoy in vlogs when people take me someplace else outside of their reading corner, when I see something from their everyday life, when I see them cook or meet friends or go for a hike and I see the area that they live in, when I see more of their apartment than just the normal filming area. I personally am not a fan of reading vlogs where a person just talks into the camera for a certain amount of time and just talks about the book, but maybe that's what you like best. Maybe you like more extensive spoilery updates about the books.
Sag ich das? Die neue Ausgabe der WDR 2 Zugabe pur ist da unser Satire-Podcast. Kann man beim
I actually do feel so much better. I'm still not perfectly fine, but I feel better. I'm going to be soaking some cashews because later on today we're going to do a vegan no-bake coconut cheesecake, because why not? I wanted to try this recipe for a while and I just thought, why not? To celebrate me crushing my TBR, do that now. Let's cook some lunch and dinner. I'm cooking one portion of food and that will then stretch over lunch and dinner. And I think I'm also preparing some, I think it's kind of like an Oreo cheesecake frosting that you can then snack on by putting on rice. Was it like rice wafers? I don't know what they're called. I also wanted to try that because I have a recipe where I think that I can change it a little so that it becomes really protein heavy. Let's start cooking and continue listening to Supernova while we're doing that. Plant-based gravy. That's where it's at. Almost done with Supernova. Getting myself this wonderful heating thing for my neck. Oh, I love this thing. So while I do feel like there's a good bit in the, not the middle, but just after the middle of the book, like the third, fourth, that is a little bit stretchy, like this the pacing. I feel like we're starting to go in circles a little bit, but it is picking up again and I am seeing the end. We have our reading sprints in a little over an hour and I should be finished with Supernova right before we start the sprints. And then during the sprints, I can dive into Reset, which I'm also really looking forward to. I cannot believe I have my reading plan up here and I have never seen so many black. Like, this is incredible. All these here are not supposed to be black, but everything that's finished is black, and then these are empty lines where I don't have anything planned. There's only 3 books left to finish this month. This is such a weird feeling. I already read 22 books and I have 3 to go if I can make it this month. But yeah, I'm really liking Supernova. I'm glad that I have that on this weekend because I've been flying through it. It's been so much fun. So let's set up these sprints. I'm a little bit late with setting them up because I didn't know who's going to join me as a co-author. Let's try this. I just got this out of the freezer. I have 2 in the fridge, but I didn't want to wait for it. It's the first time trying this. So this is pretty much basic protein frosting, low-fat cream cheese, protein powder. I think if I saw this correctly, 2 tablespoons only have 40 calories and most of it is protein. So frosting that is amazingly tasting and has amazing pros. Let's take a big scoop of that. I don't like these rice thingies. They taste like nothing. I could never get used to these on my diets before. I will try this as a dessert now. Yes, I think it's too liquid still, and you can see how it's melting everywhere. The taste is there. Maybe next time. I only had caramel. It might even have been like salty caramel, protein powder. And do this with like vanilla. Would be even better. So I finished Supernova just in time for the sprints, and I usually would say I need a breather after this, but I'm diving right into reset. I hope I can wrap my head around it. But I'm also looking really forward to getting into reset. It's not something that I have seen much yet. Can you love someone you don't remember? It seems to be a sci-fi-esque romance, women's, I don't know. They live in a world where every couple of years, everybody's mind is a reset, and that is supposed to avoid wars and intrigue and all of that, because everybody knows that every 4 years, you're just resetting and have like no memories, no attachments, and no wars. I'm thinking that it's all gonna be turned on its head. So let's get started. So far I'm really enjoying reset. There's one point of view that I'm not completely following yet, where I'm having some trouble just understanding that character a little bit, but that is fine. The other parts I really enjoy so far, and there's a lot of existential questions right from the get-go. A few parts where I feel like we have some too obvious info dumping, but other than that, it's fine. I just got the cake out of the freezer and it's starting to like fully melt. I'm not sure if again part of it was too liquid. We're gonna take a slice to celebrate me crushing my TBR. I need to stop. It is so good. But I have a feeling it might be too much for me. If you want to win this one, use hashtag reset. And I was thinking so long for what I could do to reward myself for crushing my TBR. So let me know if you had to reward yourself for succeeding in a challenge, succeeding in your TBR, whatever. What would you reward yourself with? I had the hardest time figuring it out, but I want to know what would be your reward to celebrate crushing a challenge or something. Let me know. So we just finished the sprints. I'm a third through reset. I am getting so tired. I do think I need to finish this off now. Oh, and my shoulder is still hurting, so I feel like I want to go to bed and cry and whine a little bit about how I'm old and hurting. Maybe it's just that time of the month where you just want to go and whine about and bitch about stuff. But I enjoyed this. Am still going to give this away. So if you're interested in this, absolutely put the hashtag reset with the answer to my question in the comments, because I'm totally gonna give it away. This will always be a mystery for you because I'm not gonna open this anymore on this. But if you want to know, put it in the comments and I'll let you know what it is. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me on this epic occasion. I just mentioned it at the end of the live show. I feel like this is something like a solar eclipse. It shouldn't be happening. Me finishing my TBR feels insane. I don't know. I feel so weird, but I'm totally gonna do it. 3 books to finish in 2 days. I can do that. I just need a good night's of sleep, and I might have to take Tuesday off work or something. I don't know, but we're gonna do this. We're totally gonna do this. Thank you for watching. I wish you good luck in the giveaway, and I hope to see you again on my channel real soon. Until then, bye.